What's a podcast? I like your show.
How did I get here? Welcome to the Shipe Sports Show.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another live episode of Shipe Sports Talk Show at Buffalo Wings and Beer in Germantown, Maryland. For our special NFL kickoff preview special show, I'm joined always by my co-host and producer, Paul.
What happened, Paul?
Oh, your mic's not working.
Down, that's why. Hey.
Joined always by my co-host, Chris.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
And the coach.
Hey, it's great to be back here.
Oh.
All right, so first off, we're going to take a moment to recognize everyone who was lost during the tragic events of 9/11 15 years ago. So, prayer for them and for all the heroes that day of the fire department and police department who ran inside those buildings unselfishly to help anyone out. So thank you to them and prayers to them and their families.
Yeah, today is a great day. Week 1 of 2016 NFL football season, so everyone's happy about that. But I don't think anyone in this nation will ever forget, where we were 15 years ago. And like Matt was saying, it's thoughts and prayers to everybody who we lost that day and everyone who ran in there who tried to help somebody out. Whether you're first responder, EMS, police, everybody deserves, some thoughts and prayers today.
Yeah, I think if you watched the Tennessee Virginia Tech game last night, they did a cool thing at the beginning of the game. The entire stadium had little signs up that was either an American flag, said USA on it. It was around the entire stadium, not just one side,
awesome.
but the entire side. So it was a pretty sight to see last night.
I didn't see that.
It's a great day for all that stuff to our heroes and to the individuals that lost their lives also.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you for that. And let's get going. So first we're going to do our, I guess we'll do like our preview, NFL preview. We'll talk about division winners. We'll get to the playoffs. And then we'll talk about the, who's going to be our Super Bowl champs. So we already did the NFC East on our fantasy special show on Tuesday. But Chris, let's get into it. Who did you pick to win the NFC East?
I said it was going to come down to the very last matchup, whether it's the Giants or the Redskins. I got to go with the Redskins. Obviously, I'm a Redskins fan, so I got to pick the Redskins to win the season. Probably 8-8 or 9-7.
All right, Coach, and what was your? You weren't there on Tuesday, so what's your NFC winner?
NFC prediction. I predict that I'm going to go either everybody's delight or everybody's hate.
Wait.
Dallas
We're
and
talking
Washington.
about the NFC in
East.
general?
East.
Or East?
East.
East.
Yeah,
okay,
East.
cool. Because you said NFC, so I'm like, okay, are we
No.
talking division or conference championship?
No.
Okay, NFC East.
Dallas and Washington both to come in 10-6, and Dallas will win the division in the head-to-head.
Wow, okay.
All right. Well, I picked on the show the Redskins, and I'm going to stay with
All
that
right.
pick even after a couple days.
Me too, definitely.
Let's move on to the South, where you had Carolina, who had their opening game loss. They missed the last second field goal. Newton got very roughed up. Kelvin Benjamin looks like he hasn't missed a step. So, and then you also have New Orleans, who's looking to come back strong. Atlanta, Tampa Bay, I think they're still a little bit behind of catching up anywhere.
Definitely.
Atlanta, a couple of years ago, they were almost in the Super Bowl, and then they just took a nosedive. So, Chris, what's your South prediction?
NFC South, I think, is going to be pretty easy. I think the Carolina Panthers are really the only team that finished with double-digit wins. I mean, I think they're probably somewhere in the vicinity of 11 to 12 wins this year. So I think they're the clear-cut favorites to win this division, hands down.
All right. Coach, your South?
Oh, South is I'm go with Carolina straight up. They just had a toenail clip the other night, but that's all right. It'll grow back, and they'll be stronger come next week, couple weeks.
Yeah, I would have bet my paycheck on Gano making that field goal again. He's such a good player. He probably makes that field goal 99 times out of 100, I think.
And another kicker the Redskins let go, went somewhere else and actually did good.
Yep.
Well, Gano, he had made one earlier in the game from the same distance.
Exactly.
So it was,
Well, he made the try before when they iced him. He made that one just fine.
The ice actually worked this one time.
I actually have him on my fantasy team, and I was like, yes, he's gonna make it, no problem. And then next thing you know, shanked it left.
Me too. Me too.
I also have Carolina winning that division. I may have someone else in that division also making the playoffs as a wild card, but we'll get to those a little bit later. Let's move to the north. Green Bay, the Vikings, who lost Bridgewater for the entire year.
Right.
They go and basically trade, I think, a king's ransom for Sam Bradford, which I don't think he's worth a first round and a fourth round pick. And then
No.
if they make the Super Bowl, I think it's a first and second round.
Mm-hmm.
So it's even, I think the Eagles definitely took advantage of the Vikings panicking. Then you also have the Bears and the Lions, who are going to be without Calvin Johnson for the first time in, what was it, about 10, something, close to
long
almost
time.
10 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
10, 11 years.
Yep, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
So, Chris, the north for you.
I think, again, this is a no-brainer, especially with Teddy Bridgewater going down for the season. I think the Packers are the only team that finished with double-digit wins this season in that division, hands down. I mean, they, like you told me, we talked about this several times. The Packers are the only team right now favored to win 16 games.
And that happened
every game this
after
season.
Bridgewater got hurt.
Yeah,
That's the funny thing.
yeah.
Coach?
Well, I'm going to pick the Packers in that division. You have Jordy Nelson coming back. He can stay healthy with his ACL, and it's clear. And then I think Rodgers has the artillery he needs and the extra package with Nelson. Plus, with Lacey, the running back, and he's a little healthier this year. The
A lot
Packers,
healthier. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it'd be the
What did he do?
Packers to
P90X?
win that
Yeah.
division. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Green Bay as well. I mean, as a runaway, and I think Green Bay could only maybe lose 1 or 2 games this year.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
mean, it's hard to see them lose, especially with, like you said, Jordy Nelson's back, Eddie Lacy. Randall Cobb didn't look too good last year, but now that Nelson's back, I think it's going to open up a lot more for him. And no one's talking about Jared Cook,
Yeah.
who's a really decent tight end, which
Yeah,
that team has been missing ever since, who's the guy who went down a couple years ago? That was a pretty good.
For the Packers?
Yes, I can't think
Oh,
of
with his neck, right?
Yep. Can't think of his name, but they've never really had like a decent tight end. I think
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers never had a tight end. All right, so let's move on to the West, which I think is a very I think
That's
it's
a tough
I think it's
division,
an
I think.
open division between Arizona, Seattle, and the Rams. You have probably 3 top 5 defenses right there. 49ers, no one knows what's really going on with them. So, Chris, you're West.
I agree. This is a pretty competitive division. I think it's probably, in my opinion, more competitive than NFC East. It's right there in terms of competitiveness, but I think these teams are just slightly better than the NFC East. But I think it's going to be basically a race to the finish with the Cardinals and the Seahawks. But I think the Cardinals are too good. I think this is a team that could actually make it to the Super Bowl and win this year.
Coach.
I'm gonna go with Arizona in the
Yeah.
West. I think they have a little bit more talent than Seattle has right now. Now here is the denominator. How long does Lynch stay retired?
Yep.
There
If
was
he
reports
does
that came out.
decide that he wants to come back, Seahawks have first right. So now, if not happens, it's going to be a tight division. If not, I think Arizona takes it.
I have the same opinion as you. It all depends on what happens with Marshawn Lynch. They said he's 4th or 5th week. He could decide if he wants to come back. We'll see how he feels. But
Pen just exploded.
I'm going to go with Arizona as well. So
Yeah.
there we go. So we all pretty much almost have like the same division winners.
Yeah.
Let's go with our 2 wild card teams. Chris, who are your 2 wild card teams?
The wild card, thanks, man. Wild card, I think it's got to be the Seahawks. Like I said, I think the Cardinals and the Seahawks are going to come down to the wire. Last week, maybe the second to last week, we'll finally realize who will win that division. But I think that second place team is definitely going to make the wild card race. I think the sneaky play now that they've made the trade, and I'm actually a fan of wow, I just drew a blank. The Vikings' new quarterback that they just traded for. I actually like Bradford. I liked him right out of college. I think the Eagles blamed a lot of their issues and troubles and failures on him when I don't think he was the main reason. So I think the Vikings actually are a sneaky number 6 seed this year.
All right, Coach.
Wild cards. I'm going to come up with the Seahawks and Falcons.
Ooh, Falcons. All right.
All right. Funny he said someone from the South. But, I mean, we all have the Seahawks, but I'm taking New Orleans for the last wild card spot. I think Drew Brees is going to have I think that re-amp offense, couldn't find a tight end that he liked, but he comes this year against Kobe Fleener, who's not that bad of a tight end. He did pretty good with Andrew Luck. Only problem is he does drop a lot of balls, but I think Breeze just throws them in there so hard there's no way they're going to come out.
And it's coming out of the off season and training camp and everything. For some reason, Drew Brees really likes Kobe Fleener. Well, maybe not for some reason, because they've been connecting, and I think that chemistry is going to start off early. I really think they have a good chance. The problem with that pick, though, I think, is their defense is still going to be crap.
Yeah, but I think they can put up the points that can counter that.
All right, but we'll see.
We'll find out this first game when they play Oakland.
All right, right. This is going to be a good
test
because Oakland is their offense is definitely up and coming, and they can put up some points too.
All right, so let's go straight to the NFC playoffs, and then we'll jump to the AFC. So,
Okay.
Chris, who do you have coming out of the NFC?
I think, again, this is a toss-up. I think the Packers have an MVP quarterback. I think this year he could actually be the MVP of the league. But also the Cardinals have a really, really complete team. They have Carson Palmer, who's been rejuvenated, once he was traded to the Cardinals. You've got David Johnson, who is a beast. He can run between the tackles, outside the tackles, take a screen for 80 yards for a touchdown. And you've got veteran leadership in the wide receiver core. So I think this comes down to defense. So I think the Cardinals come out on top.
See the Cardinals in the Super Bowl.
I have Cardinals in the Super Bowl.
All right, Coach, who do you have in the Super Bowl from the NFC?
I'll tell you, if I look at three teams: Packers, Panthers, and the Arizona Cardinals. With what you have, even going back to last year, I think the Panthers learned a lesson, a valuable lesson, getting to the Super Bowl, and they're going to repeat in the NFC. They're going to repeat.
All right, well, I am different. It's good to see that all three of us are going to be different because I actually have Rodgers making it to the Super Bowl again this year. I do have a couple rematches in the playoffs. We have the Skins versus Seattle in the first round, or rematch from a couple years ago.
Right.
Everyone knows about what happened that game, up 14-0, and then RG3's career, that's when it took the nosedive after he fell down. Then I have Green Bay, Seattle, another rematch. And then Green Bay, Arizona, another rematch from last year as well. So a couple rematches from previous playoffs. But I got Aaron Rodgers finally taking it over. He's got his two weapons back, one full, one that, can finally do stuff without being double teamed. He has the tight end. He has the running back. And I think their defense is going to hold up, especially anyone with Clay Matthews is always going to have a good year. So we have Arizona, Green Bay, and Carolina. So no one agreed.
And honestly, all three of those teams could definitely make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You can make arguments
Well,
for
you
all
can
three
make
of those
even an
teams.
argument for Seattle.
Definitely. But if I had to rank the top three teams in the NFC, that would be it right there. 1, 2, 3.
All right. Let's move on to the AFC side now. Let's first go with the East. Chris, who do you have in the AFC East?
AFC East. Ooh, well, it's tough with Tom Brady being out the first 4 games, but
Don't forget Gronk.
Gronk is now out.
He's out
They
week
just
1.
they just announced that he's not a lock either for week 2.
That's right. He didn't even travel with the team this week. But I still think the Patriots with Tom Brady and with Gronk are still the best team in this division. I really don't think the Dolphins, the Jets, really have enough to really come back and take this division from them. So I think it might come down to a couple games, but I think the Pats still end up on top.
You want to hear a funny thing? The last time they played without Gronk and Brady both, I think it was like in 2009 or something.
Yeah.
They won 56-0 still. And you saw what Matt Castle did in that system. So I think it's more of the system than the player. I hate to say that, Brady's a great quarterback. But Castle went, I think it was 11-5 in that system, which isn't,
But
for a
who did they
backup.
play?
I don't know. You got to go back to look
I mean,
at the year.
this week 1 is a tough matchup. Even if
of
Tom
course.
Brady and Gronk were
Well,
playing.
no, I meant for the whole season.
Oh, okay.
That's when
All right.
Brady was out the whole. That's
Right.
when they did the whole Brady rule for the late shots. Coach, your AFC East pick?
Oh, AFC East. Even though New England is starting without Brady for 4 games, I believe that they go 2-2. That's all they can ask for.
Yeah.
So that would give them the AFC East. The Bills are hurt. They've lost some people in spring and in the summer and everything. Dolphins are still a couple players shy.
Yep.
The Jets, I'm not sold on the Jets yet, but they could surprise somebody. But I still think the winner of the AFC East will be the Patriots.
I think the Jets actually have kind of improved from last year. I like how Fitzpatrick finally re-signed. I really like him in that system that they're in, and Marshall, Decker, they all love him. And I think that's going to continue to grow, their relationship. I think the Jets' front seven are going to be pretty dominant this season. But I think you're right. I think the Pats are just way too good to lose this division.
All right. Then also, I want to see how Taylor does for Buffalo. He just signed that big contract in the offseason.
He did.
You got McCoy there, so Bills could maybe put a little interesting thing there.
I think McCoy's great. And if he's healthy, he can definitely be a top 5 running back, I think, in my opinion. But I think
No,
the problem, I think the problem with McCoy is his injury history. You know, if something happens with an ankle or a hamstring, who's their backup now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's going to be tough. If Shady McCoy can stay healthy, they will be competitive in this division. I just don't think they have enough firepower.
All right. All right, so let's move to I'm sorry, I didn't say mine. I have New England as well.
Okay.
So, I mean, no-brainer. I mean, once Brady comes back, you saw last year when he was, he didn't get the suspension last year, but still, he lights it up. I mean, this is a fire underneath him. You saw he was the only player that somehow didn't get the NFL logo on his helmet. Don't know how. Out of all the players in the NFL, he didn't have it.
I missed that.
Yeah, he's the only player that didn't have an NFL logo on his helmet somehow. It vanished. Who knows? But I think he has a fire underneath himself, and he wants to prove it. And also, you have to look for Week 10, Week 11, Deion Lewis will eventually come back, hopefully this season, and that'll be big for them as well.
Right.
So, and also, you got Bennett as a tight end. I mean, that's a great backup for Gronk. I mean, Gronk is gone, but you have
we didn't talk about
you have
that.
another tier 1 tight end right there to take his place. And I think the reason they brought him in with Gronk is they're trying to set up the same system they had with Aaron Hernandez, which was a Super Bowl winning team.
Mm-hmm. I think they both, if they get back to that form, they both could be top 10 tight ends.
Yeah. All right, let's move to the South. Chris, who do you have?
The South. Okay. I think this is a really tricky division. I mean, you've got the Colts, you've got the Titans that are the Colts, I think, were the king of this division for so long with Peyton Manning and even with Andrew Luck in his rookie season. But last year they took a step back. And
their defense is horrible. They don't have the defense.
Exactly. Their defense is horrible, but that team's offense was just so good it didn't matter. It's almost like the Saints, where Drew Brees was just so good it didn't matter what that defense did. But if Andrew Luck comes back like he did in his rookie year, I think this is their division. Easy.
All
So
right,
I have the Colts winning only by a small margin this year. I think it's going to take a little bit of time to get back to the groove, and also their defense has taken a hit. So especially their secondary. But I still think the Colts have this division, probably
Coach?
by a game or two.
Coach?
I'm going to go far out a little bit. I'm going to go down to Texas and take the Texans to win the division.
That's who I have as number 2 in this division.
I got them in mine. I have them and the Colts reversed.
Right.
I think with the defense the Texans have and the new
scary.
quarterback they picked up from Denver, who everybody thought was going to be Denver's starting quarterback.
Yep.
They love him down in Texas.
They do.
So, I think Texans could take this division right now.
I agree with you. I have them just a win or two away from beating the Colts. So for me, it's 50-50. But if I had to choose, I'd choose the Colts.
All right. So
I just trust Luck more than Osweiler.
So I've watched a lot of things about this division. A lot of people are really low on the Colts. A lot of people higher on the Jags and everyone else. I'm going to go with, you're going to say I'm a fanboy, but I'm going to go with the Titans to win this division.
I'm not going to make you say that. I'm not going to let you say that.
I'm going to go with the Titans, mostly because I think their run game has been amazing. I think they've had the best run attack during the preseason. With Henry and DeMarco with that thunder, as they call it, thunder. And you saw Henry coming into OTAs, it was all, he has no footwork. His footwork's bad. Tell you what, the footwork looked pretty good, like there was nothing wrong with it. Mm-hmm. So I like Derrick Henry. The rookie Sharp come out strong for the passing game. He's making great plays on it.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go with the Titans. I think they're gonna surprise people and they're gonna win this division.
I have them as a pretty distant third, to be honest with you. Maybe not a pretty distant third, but I have them in third. I have them definitely better than the Jags. My bad. I wrote it down, but I couldn't think of it. I think the Jags also have a good chance. I mean, if barring injuries, that offense is pretty good. Now, the only problem is that I believe 80 to 90% of the Jags' touchdowns last year were in garbage time. So, fantasy-wise, that's great. Mm-hmm. But in real-life scenarios, I'm not sure how that's going to work out this year.
All right. Well, I'd like the Titans. I think any team that's run by Dick LeBeau on defense, it's going to be great. And finally, he's actually the coordinator now. Mm-hmm. So I mean, you're going to see a lot of more blitz packages, and the Redskins know when Arakpo's healthy, which he was last year with Tennessee, he's really effective. So if Arakpo can stay healthy, the only problem with Tennessee is right now their secondary. You're going to see a lot of younger players having to step up, especially Bird, the rookie. You're going to see a lot of players have to step up. I think Dodd, one of the DNs, he can play linebacker as well. So I still like Tennessee. I think.
I mean, there's a lot of good receivers in this division.
Yeah.
You're talking Nuke Johnson. You're talking both.
Who Johnson?
Nuke. That's his nickname.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, Nuke Hopkins. My bad.
I was about to say.
Nuke Hopkins. You got both Robinsons. Both Allens.
Not a lot of people talking about Matthews from Tennessee, who is really good with his time.
Yeah.
Andre Johnson is on another.
I'm really surprised that
South team.
they were able to pick him up from Miami.
Well, the Patriots. I'm surprised he picked them over the Patriots.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Me too.
So let's move to the North now. Chris, who do you have winning the AFC North?
I think that's a pretty easy one. I think the Steelers' offense is just absolutely amazing. And when you have someone like Le'Veon Bell and their backup is D'Angelo Williams, I mean, you can't go wrong with those two. I have heard a lot of reports that they're not going to give, Bell 20, 30 touches a game like they used to. I think it's going to be more of a maybe 75, 25, 60, 40 split now. But when you have Big Ben, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell as your top three players, I think they win this division easy.
Okay, now how are they going to do the first couple games without Bell? You have Bryant, who's out for the whole season, then you have Wheaton, who's out the first week. So really, I think the first game against the Redskins are going to see what they do. We'll preview that coming up in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Coach, who do you got for the North?
AFC North, I'm going to go with the Steelers. And bring the Ravens and Cincinnati in behind them in a tie.
Right there. Mm-hmm.
And then it's just the Ravens are healthy this year. They were down to what you call the nitty-gritty last year with injuries. So with them being at full force right about now, and I just think with Cincinnati, they lost a couple of their starting receivers. Okay, so they have A.J. Green, and now it's going to be A.J. Green and the Band of Renown.
Well, you got Tyler Boyd, the rookie from Pitt, who looked pretty good in preseason.
You put the thick thing, rookie.
It's a rookie.
Okay, so I think Steelers will take it with the Ravens coming in. Cleveland will be a little bit more improved. I think they could end up a game below, or if you stretch it, 500.
I think you're right. I think the Browns are going to be much improved with RG3, but I still don't have them above 500.
You mean your top 20 quarterback? That when I listed off, there was more people better than 20?
He will be exactly at 20 this year.
No, he won't.
Mark my words.
No, he'll be 25 or less.
He'll be at 20.
He's not going to do anything with that
He'll
team.
be at 20.
Okay, whatever. For the North, I have Cincinnati winning it, and then I have a Pittsburgh really close behind.
Is that because your brother-in-law lives in Cincinnati?
No, because
Is
he's
it because you
fan.
met Andy Dalton?
No. Yeah,
Okay.
I did meet Andy Dalton. That was kind of cool.
Right.
But
That
no,
was last
Dalton
year.
was an MVP type player last year before he went down with the injuries.
Uh-huh.
He still got A.J. Green.
And that was a pretty freak injury.
Yeah.
I mean,
and you still have a good.
shouldn't have happened.
You still have a good duo at running back with Hill and Bernard, and their defense is still solid. So I'm gonna go with Cincinnati and Pittsburgh being right behind them.
Okay.
So let's go with the West. Chris on the West.
the West. I think you've got the Broncos still being that number one team. I mean, you saw their defense really kind of almost left where they picked up where they left off last year. Simmons is, he's his only first real start of an NFL season, and he did pretty well. He did serviceable. Were there some interceptions? Of course there was, and that's always going to happen when you got your first start in the NFL season. But I still think they're going to be number one in this division. Mr. Shipe?
Coach.
All right, I'm still trying to figure out that West division. It's a toss-up.
It's another close one, I think, too.
Yeah, we all know that Peyton's gone.
Yep.
So with the Broncos, new quarterback and so forth, okay, they won 21-20. We also know that Gano missed 33-yard field goal. Their defense, Broncos defense, is still going to be tough. It's going to the way it was, but I'm going to pick the Chiefs to win the AFC
Okay.
West, with the Broncos coming in 2, Raiders and Chargers following.
All right.
Can I go with just a quick fun fact?
Sure.
So since 1999, the Browns have had 25 starting quarterbacks. You know who used to be one of them?
Who?
The Eagles head coach. That's crazy to
That's
think.
pretty crazy, yeah.
All right, so the West, I'm going to
good.
have
Sounds
Denver
good.
on top. Their defense was amazing this week. Cam Newton, you know, the whole controversy where they headhunting or whatnot, whatever. Their defense still looked great. They still have a great secondary. Even with the loss of Malik Jackson and Danny Trevathan, they still look great. And I'm going to have Kansas City with the close second. I really like their offense. Alex Smith knows how to not turn over the ball, and a lot of people don't realize he's very mobile too. He'll get you 500, 600 rushing yards a season as well. So I'm going to go with that. So, Chris, let's go with who's going to represent the AFC.
Who's going to represent the AFC? I think it has to be. I'm in a toss-up between the Patriots. I think it's the Patriots and the Steelers. I think it's going to come down to that game for the AFC Championship. And I think, you know what? Let's say the Steelers take it.
All right, Coach.
Well, let's see here. I've get a chance to watch a little bit of the NFL shows and stuff on TV and everything between coaching.
Right.
I keep hearing the fact that Texas, the Texans, some of the analysts are saying the Texans Super Bowl possibly. Okay? I'm not going to pick the Texans. I'm looking at the Steelers. They may knock off the Patriots. I think the Patriots getting off to a 2-2 start or 1-3. I think the Steelers going to have a better defense.
Right.
Let them represent. Get, back in there.
The only reason I didn't pick the Broncos is I'm not sure about that quarterback situation yet. When you have Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger, those are two possible MVP candidates this year. So I have to trust them more than I trust the Broncos quarterback situation right now.
All right. I'm going to have New England representing the AFC. I just think, once Brady comes back, like I said, I think he's going to have more of a drive and fire.
Yep.
Of course, with the suspension or whatnot, I think when Gronk and Ben are on the field together, it's going to be just like him and Hernandez, maybe even better. And, you're going to have Edelman back out there. Amendola, he just has weapons around him, and he makes people better around him. I do have a rematch between him and Denver in the AFC Conference Championship game. I just don't think Denver's going to keep up with him. I think offensively, I think, the second-year man looked pretty good against Carolina. But, like we said, but we do agree, Manning didn't look too good last year, and they still won the Super Bowl. But
Exactly.
I just like Brady. I think Brady's going to put up a lot of points this year.
Yep.
Once he comes back. So I have Green Bay versus New England. So, Chris, who's your Super Bowl champ?
I think this is going to be tough. Steelers against Cardinals, Super Bowl rematch. I still don't think the Steelers should have won that game. For some reason, I've watched that replay a million times, and I don't think he got his 2 feet in the corner. But this year, I think the Cardinals take it.
Coach, who's your Super Bowl winner?
Oh, Super Bowl winner? Let's give it. Who did I say was in there anyway? Oh, that was
You
3
said
pages ago.
Steelers?
That TCI is sitting
Steelers
in
and
here,
Carolina.
Steelers and Carolina.
You have Steelers and
fellas. Wait a
Carolina.
minute. Did I?
Yes.
Yep.
Steelers and. Let's give it to Carolina this year.
All right, and I had Green Bay and New England. I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers gets his second
Yeah.
Super Bowl this year.
Okay.
I'm going to go with A-Rod,
So we've got Cardinals,
the non-steroid A-Rod.
Cardinals,
Green Bay
Green Bay,
and Carolina.
and Carolina.
All
right.
eight. So we picked the NFC to do a clean sweep.
Wow. That's surprising.
Does that include the Pro Bowl too?
No, we're not.
No, not the
there is
Pro
no
Bowl.
Pro
Definitely
Bowl.
not.
All right.
All right, so now what we're going to do is
Open it up.
we're going to shift gears, and we're going to preview the Redskins versus the Steelers tomorrow night, 7 o'clock ESPN, early starts time for Monday Night Football because obviously there's 2 games tomorrow. So, Chris, what are your thoughts on this game?
I think it's going to be tough for the Redskins. We saw that in the preseason. Now, let's put an asterisk around this. The preseason. In the preseason, the first-team defense actually did relatively well. They held Julio Jones to pretty much nothing. They basically held, I think they went 3 and out the first series for all 3 games, if I remember correctly. But I think that first-team offense for the Steelers is just going to be that much better than our first-team defense. So I think it's going to be tough. I think we're going to be behind early, especially if they can get D'Angelo Williams going early. I think it's going to be too tough for us to come back. But I do think that we do mount a comeback. I still think that the Steelers win, though.
All right, Coach, what are your thoughts on the game?
I think diehard Redskin fan. I think the Steelers are it's Monday night, and the Steelers. I think the Steelers are going to take it. They're going to take the Monday night game.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's a little unfortunate being Redskins fans, but
well, yeah,
it's kind of hard to pick against
I
them.
just look at the past when the Steelers have come to town. I'm not talking about the incident that week with the yellow terrible towels in the stands, but I'm just saying Redskins just find a way not to match up with them.
Yeah.
Did you hear what the Skins are doing? They're giving burgundy towels out, so that way when they wave them, it looks like it's burgundy and gold for the Skins.
That's kind of cool.
I
didn't see that.
I can see that.
That's kind of cool,
That's
actually.
good.
I'm actually going to go against both of you guys, and I think the Redskins are actually going to pull this one out. I think without Bell, with just Brown out there as the main target, I think this is a great chance to see what Josh Norman can do one-on-one after all the credits. But the thing is, with Rashard Breedle in there, you don't have to have Norman always line up against Brown. If he goes on the left side, you can have Breland. Right side, Norman, because we've seen Breland before. He covered Des Bryant during that one Monday night game, shut him down. He shut down Odell Beckham. So Breland, I think, is starting to become a top-tier cornerback in this league. Give him, maybe a year or two to really get going with his craft. But I really like the Redskins. I think it's going to be a big shootout, though. Kurt's going to have to pass the ball around. But when you have weapons like Deshaun, Garcon, Reed, Crowder, you have so much weapons around there. I think the Redskins can actually pull this off. And I think the key matchup will be Brown versus Norman. But I think it could also be Brown versus Breland. Because if you see Norman maybe giving up a couple plays, you can always switch it to Breland and see how he does. That's the benefit of having two really good cornerbacks.
So let me ask you guys. I think we want the Redskins to win. So, Coach, what would you say the key to this game is? What do the Redskins have to do to win this game?
If they want to win, their secondary better be at the top of their game.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to be able to cover the deep ball. Don't look up to the next guy and say, "What, me?" No, it's got to be covered.
Yeah.
If you can take Brown away deep, you've got a pretty good chance.
Okay.
Because I think they can control the run game of Pittsburgh, but the question is in the secondary still.
Okay.
But here's the problem with Brown. He doesn't just beat you receiving the ball. He's a pretty darn good returner as well.
Oh, yeah.
So you got the Redskins defense or special teams we know have always never been the best. So you can't let Brown beat you at all. I mean, he can do reverses and he does everything, so you can't get beat. But I really like how the Redskins match up because of how many people this team is missing. How many people are missing.
So what do you think your key is? What is that one piece of the puzzle that we need to do to win this game?
Shut down Brown in the all-around game. His return and his receiving. What about you?
I'm sticking to the defense, but I think it has to do with us getting pressure on Big Ben. If we can get pressure on Big Ben and stop D'Angelo Williams from running the ball and keep them one-dimensional, I think we have to trust in Josh Norman to be able to do at least average against Antonio Brown. If we can at least shut down the run game, I feel like we have, like you said, our top two corners can probably do decent if we can just get to the ball in the backfield.
Well, I also think a key for the Redskins is you got to get the running game going because if you set up play action, especially with guys like Deshaun going deep, that'll work great. If they can get their run game going and once they get play action, they'll be unstoppable.
We've got a great offensive, I think we got a great offensive and receiving core. You got Garcon, Deshaun Jackson, Jordan Reed. I'm not sure where Doxson is going to play in terms of number 3 and number 4.
Oh, he's still questionable for Monday night, so
yeah,
I really don't think he's going to see the field.
It's possible. He might not see it, but I still think our top 3 options couldn't win every matchup. I just think it's going to come down to our defense shutting them down for a few series.
True. Joe Barry, the defensive coordinator, he's going to have to come up with some good stuff.
Yeah.
And he's a smart man, so he may be, but I still go with the Steelers.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get to our pick for this game. We're going to do another pick 'em like we did last year.
All right.
It'll involve myself, Chris, Coach, Paul, and Anthony will also be involved, my co-host from OT3. Cool. So we're going to do some pits, Paul. We may need you in a little bit.
We're going to choose who wins these games.
All right, so first let's go with Washington and Pittsburgh. Chris, who do you have?
I already did.
I think we just said it. I would love for the Redskins to win, but I think Steelers are going to take it.
Coach, you still going to stay with Steelers?
I'm going to stay with the Steelers for week 1.
Okay. Paul, who do you got, Redskins or Pittsburgh?
Ask Rocky
Yeah.
right there. What's Rocky Blyer have? Come here. Come up here. You need it. Come on. This young man right here.
And the Deshaun Jackson
Is that
jersey.
Mark Rippon's number? No. Oh, you got Jackson. Okay, I like a Rippon number. Here
You
we
think
go.
the Redskins are going to win this week?
Give us your pick.
I think it will,
It's a tough
I
game.
think it will
Go
be
ahead.
the Redskins.
Let's
Who?
hope so. I hope you're right. And I
Who'd
hope
he
I'm
say?
wrong.
Redskins.
He said
Oh,
Redskins.
Redskins. Okay. All right.
All right, thank you.
We have that.
Good job.
All right.
All right, so Anthony went with Pittsburgh in this game.
Any other for this? I mean,
Do you think they'll make it to the playoffs?
It's another tough one.
Yes.
Yeah.
all right. Okay.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Don't be bashful.
Anthony also took Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Paul and take the Redskins.
All right. I hope I'm wrong. I really do.
All right, the second game we're going to pick today is going to be Dallas versus the Giants. Paul, who do you have?
Somewhere. Oh, there it is.
I think I'm going to have to
There's it
pick
right
with
here.
the Giants.
Chris, who do you have?
I'm going to stick with the Giants as well. I think just two rookies in those key positions. Although they've shown well in the preseason, I think just the fact that they're rookies, at some point a rookie mistake will happen from one of them. And I think the Giants will be able to take advantage of that.
Coach?
I'm going to go with the Cowboys. I really do. I like, people have thrown Dak Prescott in. I'm not really a Dallas fan, but boy, Dallas is going to have a
I hear some boos
come on
out
over.
We hear the boos. You're right.
Give us your opinion. Give us your opinion. Come on over. And it's because I like Dak Prescott. He's shown some
He's shown really well in the
some
preseason.
stuff
Yeah.
in the preseason. And here's the thing. They do have an ex-Redskin in the backfield. Unfortunately, we didn't want to
Unfortunately.
keep him and pay him any money. They do have Alfred Morris.
Yeah.
Him and Ezekiel Elliott, it gives them a pretty good run game with that big offensive line they have. So that gives Prescott some insurance.
Yep.
Am I going to
So-
start calling you Skip Bayless or something? Because that's what you just sound like.
Nah, just
You sound like Skip Bayless.
Skippy for short.
Yeah. All right, me and Anthony both took. Anthony can't be here because obviously he lives in Florida, so he gave me his picks. He took the Giants, and I took the Giants as well. So we move on to our next game, and we're going to go with Jacksonville versus Green Bay. Paul, who do you got?
So I'm going to go with Green Bay.
Chris?
Yeah, I think Green Bay gets up early, and I think they hold on.
All right. Coach?
Packers.
All right, I also took the Packers.
We had three
And,
Packers in the audience,
and
too.
Anthony took the
We
Packers.
had one audience here. I heard.
They
I
said
heard
Packers.
One for the Packers.
Not even close.
Everyone's taking Green Bay.
Okay, good.
All right, and
It's unanimous.
the other game we're going to do is going to be Tennessee versus Minnesota. I think,
Why?
with Bridgewater out, this could be a really close game. But, Paul, who do you got? Think wisely.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm going to say Vikings.
Chris?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm going to have to go with the person I trust most at quarterback, and that would be Marcus Mariota. So I'm going to go with the
Who you got?
Titans.
Titans.
I think AP will probably have a good game, but I think I definitely trust Mariota to take another step in, this being his next year in the season.
All right, Coach?
I'm looking not because of your shirt. I look at the Titans. I believe the extra year that Mariota's going to have now, and the running game with DeMarco Murray and Mr. Henry back there. I think they're going to try to control it just as much as the Vikings are going to control it.
This is going to be a run game.
Yeah, it's going to be
100%.
low scoring. Adrian Peterson doesn't get tired.
Nope.
He's going to protect Sean Hill.
Yep.
So, but I think I'm going to go with the Titans with
Yep.
Tennessee for this one.
I agree.
What's Adrian Peterson? Is he going to be good in fantasy this year? I mean, he wasn't.
I think in non-PPR is really where he does good at because he doesn't really catch the ball out of the backfield.
Right.
So I think non-PPR Peterson's good. With PPR, I think it's, he's not a top 10.
I still think he's a top 10. He's just way too good.
Where did he go? Like in some? Did you guys do a lot of mock drafts and
Yeah.
stuff like that?
He went a lot like outside the top 5. Like I think the average is probably 8 or 9.
He went in the bottom
yeah.
half of the first round or the top half of the second.
Okay.
So right around like anywhere from 7 to like 14, 15, something
Okay.
like that range.
You got
All
it.
right.
Give a shout out for that. Maryland
I'm
combination.
gonna,
next? What do you got next?
Well, I didn't get the pick.
Oh, okay, go
Me and
ahead.
Anthony both took the Titans, but also the quarterback for Minnesota is the Maryland University grad.
Sean Hill, yeah.
Yeah, you should know that. You went there. So last game we're going to do is the game of the week, which I think is going to be New England versus Arizona. So,
Okay.
Paul, who do you have there?
Let's see. New England, Arizona,
This is without Tom Brady. Just making sure you knew that.
Arizona. Then.
Yeah, Tom Brady-less Patriots.
Chris?
I think it would have been a really, really close game if Tom Brady was in there, but with him not being in there and with Gronk not also being in the lineup, I think the Cards take this.
All right, I think that's a clean sweep. Me and Anthony both took the Cardinals. That's a clean sweep.
Did your dad pick a team yet?
Yeah, he said New England.
Oh, I didn't hear
What I
that.
I didn't say anything yet.
I didn't hear you say anything.
So who do you pick then?
I didn't say New England. I said the Cardinals.
Okay,
That's
there
what
we
I meant.
go.
Without-
Cardinals.
Cardinals, sorry.
Without Brady and Gronk, the Cardinals have just a little bit too much talent right now.
Yeah.
To go for the Patriots to handle.
All right.
It's going to be
Okay.
a fun, exciting game to watch, though. Sunday
Now
prime
we all
time.
could be wrong, but
Yeah, we'll
I
be
think
at
the
home watching
Cardinals.
So we have about 15 minutes left till kickoff. We're gonna do a quick fantasy sit 'em or start 'em. We're gonna this part of the show. We're not gonna give any explanation why. It's just gonna be start or sit. So that way everyone can get it, eat and enjoying the game. So Chris, quarterback, start and sit.
To start, I'm going to go with Matthew Stafford. The Colts defense and especially their secondary is really banged up right now. Matt Stafford is really going to have to focus more on the routes and moving on to the second and third reads because he doesn't have that comfort blanket of Calvin Johnson anymore. So I think definitely Matt Stafford. To sit, you said we're doing start and sit, right?
Yeah.
All right, so to sit, I'm sitting Jay Cutler. I think that Houston defense is going to get to him a lot.
All right, coach, quarterback, start or sit.
I'm gonna stick with the old. I'm gonna
bad.
go Rodgers. Sit Rodgers.
Sit
Play
Rodgers.
No, I'm sitting down. Start Rodgers. See the CTI, baby. Okay, here we go. Play Rodgers.
I agree. Play
Okay.
Rodgers.
That's it. What page was my fantasy on? You know what? I might say sit. Dalton.
It's going to be a tough matchup.
I got start Derek Carr and I have sit Ryan Tannehill against the Seattle's defense.
We got some time. We got 15 minutes to talk. Right? We're here to 1.
And we're doing.
All right.
All right, go running back, start or sit.
Running back. Start.
I just have start. I don't have sit.
Start, I have Eddie Lacy.
That's what I did last year.
You don't want any explanation, but Eddie Lacy's a beast. So I think they're going to be up
We already
early.
know that.
That's true.
It's already
All right.
confirmed.
Who's your start?
Start at running back. I like Gurley for the Rams.
That's
Start
why.
him.
That's why I
Start
put
him.
3. I don't want to put the same person as you guys.
Well, he heard me say it. I'm going to start Gurley, but I'm also going to sit Yeldon from Jacksonville because I think that game's going to be a shootout. You're not going to see much running.
I agree.
Who's your starting receiver?
I think you got to go with Julio Jones in that matchup.
All right. And
He'll
who's your,
probably get 20 plus targets this game.
and who are you going to sit?
Who am I going to sit? I'm probably sit Jarvis Landry this week.
He's not playing this week. Oh, no, that's Devontae Parker. I'm sorry,
Exactly.
Devontae Parker.
Exactly. So they can only really, they can just hone in on Jarvis Landry, and that's it.
All right, Coach, who are you starting for wide receiver?
Oh, Hopkins for Texans against that matchup against the Bears.
I think he might get at least 2 touchdowns this game.
Really?
Yeah, I think he could.
My start's going to be Mike Evans. I mean, obviously, they're playing against Atlanta's shaky defense. My sit's going to be Julie Edelman
Yeah.
because the quarterback situation. I think he's going to rely more, on Bennett than Edelman.
Yep.
And then, Chris, finally, your tight end start.
My tight end start is going to be Kobe Fleener. There's been a lot of buzz in the offseason, so I think it's going to definitely going to show in the game 1.
Who's your sit?
My sit is going to be, actually that's my start. So my sit, that's a good one. You have to come back to me.
Okay. Who's your start,
I
Coach?
wrote 2 starts, but no sit.
Oh, my starting tight end in fantasy is Eifert for Cincinnati. They're going to need him against that Jets defense.
Oh, but he's out.
He's
He is
out.
out?
He's out.
Yeah,
for-
he's out for a few weeks.
Well, sit him then.
Perfect.
Sit Eifert. Oh, tight end. Yeah, if we go to Monday night, who else?
Reed.
Jordan Reed.
Yeah.
My start's going to be Jason Witten. Like we said on our preview show, who's the best friend of a rookie quarterback is a tight end. We
tight
saw
end.
that last year with Delaney Walker. My sit's going to be Kyle Rudolph in the Tennessee game.
Yeah.
I think with the Sean Hill starting, I think they're going to rely a lot more on Peterson more than likely. So I'm going to go sit Rudolph. Did you figure out who your sit's going to be?
It's tough, man, because a lot of these quarterbacks, like you said, their safety blanket is a tight end. So I'm gonna actually have to go with the tight end for. Oh, you already said Kyle Rudolph, so I'm not gonna say the same thing. Let's go with whoever the Jets tight end is. That defense for the Bengals is just too good.
Do you know who their tight end is?
I'm not sure who they're starting.
Is it
tight end
Cumberland
is.
still?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know who their starting tight end
So
is.
any
right
tight
now.
end.
Any tight end on the
Find
Jets right
out.
now.
All right. Well, I think that's our fantasy focus Shipe Sports Talk ending. So I think that's about going to wrap it up. So we'll let our producer Paul take over for his little information that he has.
There's still about 10 minutes left for you to enter in FanDuel and DraftKings.
Yep.
I just posted about an hour ago my best FanDuel lineup. Matt posted his DraftKings lineup about, a couple days ago?
Yeah.
So there's still 10 minutes. It's an excellent way to get a little bit of money. You can basically play for as little as a quarter or as much as a few $1,000s if you wanted to play.
Anybody else for
It's really good
predictions for
fun.
Monday night? Anybody else
No.
predictions for Monday night? Gotta go. We're done, right?
Yeah, go ahead, Paul. It's all you.
Got it. All right. It's all you.
Yeah, so thanks everybody for watching online, streaming. You can visit the website at shipesportstalk.com. You can tweet us at Shipe Sports Talk, and you can also send in emails to shipesportstalk@gmail.com. So we usually do shows every, Tuesdays? Yeah, around 7 o'clock, live on YouTube and on Facebook. So just if you go to YouTube, go ahead and give us a like, subscribe, and you'll be set up with all the future episodes. And you can, of course, watch the past episodes as well. So we usually preview the upcoming week in terms of sports, so not just football, but everything else, whatever's in season. So we hope you join us there. So once again, all the social media, be sure to follow us there.
All right, once again from all of us, thank you. Also, if you're watching live on YouTube right now, head on down to BWB in Germantown, Maryland, or Cloverly, Maryland. They have a location there as well. Great variety of wing sauce, great variety of adult beverages. So come on down.
A bunch
enjoy.
of TVs.
Yeah,
I lost count.
I think it's about 24 televisions.
Watch any game you want right now.
Yeah, and it'll be a great place for tomorrow for the Redskins Steelers game. So
Yep.
thank you for listening.
And thanks again to Eddie and Ira for letting us come
Yeah,
in.
thank you to Eddie and Ira.
appreciate
Eddie's
that.
somewhere. Hopefully he raised his hand right now and waved to everyone.
We've done it a few times, so and they welcome us in here. So thanks so much. Yep.
So once again, everyone, thank you for listening and have a great day and enjoy the NFL season.
Yes, I can't wait.
Woo!
I'm done.